Well, good evening, everybody. It's nice and cozy in here. You get closer if you want, but don't. We have such an entertaining for you this evening. In fact, it's so entertaining, we hope to be entertaining ourselves in the process. You'll see the publicity for this is all about the village wedding, which was written in the early part of the 20th century by Charles McAvoy. And we're very pleased to have with us this evening John and Marianne AD.
Thrilled to be here.
Of course you are. But they are no relation at all to the author, but I'll make that clear, but they do own the old malt house from where it was written. And it's lovely that they are here because the barn in which the play was enacted, they've had kept up to date brilliantly. You'll see as you go along there where the old maltster, they've just redone the roof and everything, and they're really keen on keeping it a good state. And the village is really thankful. You're spending hundreds of thousands of pounds on it. Thank you, Alan, very much indeed. Now, the order for this evening is that we will enact the final scenes of the play The Village Wedding, and we will then break for nibbles and hot toddies. Not alcoholic, no alcohol. We will also have a quiz. You'll see some quiz sheets.
Not yet.
No. Yet.
But not yet. No, not yet.
Given out.
Given out. I thought.
See, we don't want them doing the quiz while we're acting.
We don't want distracted.
Just joking. And then we will play it the rest of the evening. So just to say then that this play was written in 1910 by Charles McAvoy, as I said. John has pulled out the original programme, which you all have, and that is an actual original copy of the original programme. So we've done nothing extra to it, nothing added to it. Even the print is as bad then as it is now.
And your granddad misspelled.
And my granddad was misspelled, yeah. Never mind. So we are going to, I'm afraid we haven't memorised all the words. We're at that sort of age where you either do or you don't, and we don't. But nonetheless, we're game for it, and we have had one or two illnesses, and we've drafted in a veteran from stage and screen, Malcolm here, who very willingly stepped up for the part. And so, without further ado, and I also would like to welcome our Zoomers, of whom we have quite a few actually, from the looks of it. And we will be performing here. We won't be moving around at all, and we will be reading from script. So I'll warn you now, it is of its time. You have to understand that. And some people will be trying to put on Wiltshire accents. And that's why the play largely failed in London. But it was seen by George Bernard Shaw and Granville Barker, and they thought it sufficiently good, so they should take it to London. Not thinking about the local dialect.
Just mentioned Terry and interject. Please do have a read of some of the reviews on the fascinating. One of which I think is the New York Times. So lots of reviews in as it went out.
So without any further ado, Jan is going to be the narrator for the play, and she is going to be stood here all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, and I'll hand you over. We are not standing in any particular order. I will say that.
The wall. Yes, okay. Okay, so good evening and welcome to our 2024 Christmas Day for the Heritage Group. We're going to be going through the last act of the play, The Village Wedding, which was written by Charles McAvoy. He was the playwright and stage director and lived 1879 to 1929. And he was a resident of the old malt house on the road that goes out to Hungerford in the early 1900s. We want you to use your imagination a little bit here, so we'll do our best to set the scene. So the village wedding was first performed in 1910 in the Malt House barn, which had been converted into a theatre. Evidence of this is still visible in the barn, the painted exit signs still being quite legible. George Bernard Shaw came here to watch the play, and the cast consisted entirely of local Oldbourne residents, supported by another village institution, the Oldbourne Band. The play went on tour around the south of England and also played in Manchester and London, receiving mixed reviews before closing. Ostensibly, this failure was partially blamed on the Wiltshire accent, which audiences found difficult to understand. We propose to read through the final act of the play, where the following characters appear. We have Lizzie Hicks, daughter of Robert Beale and married that day to George. Robert Beale, Lizzie's father, an old man, housebound, who was unable to attend Lizzie's wedding. Albert Black, tramp, who early in the play had tricked his way into the Beales' cottage and claimed to be Lizzie's cousin. George Hicks, married that day to Lizzie.
Me, what's me?
That's you. Dick Strong, a friend of George and his best man. And William Pictor, another friend of George and Dick Strong's. So I'll set the scene so far. Play opens with a scene in the Beales' cottage, where preparations are being made for the forthcoming wedding later that day between Lizzie and George. The wedding party leave the cottage, all except for Robert. Sorry. The wedding party leave the cottage, all except for Robert, who is aged and housebound, and enjoying a drink of ale. Albert Black, a tramp, travelling through the village on his way to Bristol, tricks his way into the cottage, and after talking to Robert and plying him with more ale, convinces Robert that he's a friend of his nephew in Canada. Robert becomes drunk, and Black then steals a suit belonging to Dan Beale, Robert's brother who had emigrated to Canada. Wedding bells are heard, and later that evening in the cottage, party is in full swing. Black knocks on the door, explains who he purportedly is invited in to join the party. Much later in the evening, the younger men's thoughts turn to poaching, and they decide to have one last fling before George settles to married life. George, Dick, William and Black proceed to the woods ferreting for rabbits, with Black complaining all the time. Unbeknown to them, the police and gamekeepers are waiting for poachers and rush to apprehend them. But they all escape except for Black, who's captured. Realising this, George, Dick and William try to rescue him, and in the ensuing fight, Black escapes, but more gamekeepers arrive and the other three find themselves under arrest. Black makes his way back to the cottage, leaving the three to their fate, and so to Act 4. Okay, this is Act 4, Scene 1. The scene is in the cottage interior. It's dark, except for the moon shining in at the window. The time is about 3 a.m. Lizzie is sitting at the table. There's no light in the room, only the moon shining full through the window. A distant clock strikes 3. Lizzie moves impatiently and goes to the window. She returns, and soon afterwards, the gate is heard closing.
George.
Sorry, almost whispering.
You don't need to say. George.
And tapping on the glass of the door.
George.
Lizzie opens the door. Black comes to the door.
Lock the door, had you?
Isn't that George?
No, isn't George. But don't you excite yourself.
Where's George then? What are you doing? Coming here by yourself?
I'll tell you all in good time.
He shuts the door behind his back.
You dare lock that door.
All right, I'll go. Don't make a noise. I only want a kiss off you. Then I'll go as quiet as I came.
You know who's upstairs, don't you? There's Willem and Dick. I'll pull out for 'em if you don't go out that door at once.
Willem and Dick, eh? Ha! That tale's no good, old girl. I know where your Willem and Dick and your George is, too is. Run in, see? We was caught in the woods. I got away 'cause I got a pair of legs on me as some good. Your Dick and Willem and your George is under lock and key. Same as we two are. I'd have been back here an hour ago, only I couldn't find me way at first. Went to the wrong house. Went to Willem's house. Old Sarah pops her head out the window. You can go to Robert Beale's, she said, for you shan't sleep here. There's no room, there's room there, she said, for I brought Fanny home with me. And she pops the window down. It was her told me to come here, see? And I know you're all alone too, see? So let's have that kiss, old girl.
Liar. George.
Got a pair of handcuffs on him if you want to know all about it.
You go away from here.
It's your own fault for not giving me that kiss when I wanted it.
You dare come near me.
No good for a girl to talk about dare when you're situated like this, you know. Come on, young woman, don't you be afraid of me. Look here, I'll put my hands behind me back. You give me a kiss, and I'll go out that door. I won't do anybody any harm. You needn't say you done it.
You come near me, I'll give you a kiss you won't like. You'll see, you coward, you.
Oh, well, I'll make an auction of it, a bid higher. I want two now. And if you keep me hanging about much longer, I'll have half a dozen of it, perhaps worse than that.
Hey there.
Ah, you would.
He gets across at her and closes her mouth, sitting on the table and drawing her to him.
Now, what can you do, eh? I'll hurt your arm silly if you squeak again, see?
No.
Keep quiet then, see? Now I can take me time over it, can't I? No, it's no good. There's one, you see, quite easy. See, I can take me time over it. There's another. It's all your own fault. Here, keep still a minute. What's
A horse goes by at full gallop.
my God? It's a fire engine.
Let me go.
Let you go? I'm hanged if I will.
Cries of fire, praise, God, shouting.
I was wishing I'd got a bit more light in here to see your pretty face by.
Men are running by shouting, fire, fire, fire. Horses go by, obstacle bells, people running and shouting.
Go on, let it blaze up. This is all right, isn't it? Damn you, kiss me yourself. Do you hear me? Kiss me yourself then. That's what I call kissing. Being kissed.
Stay there.
It's no good. It's no good at all. He's stone deaf and blind drunk when he went to bed.
Stay there.
I'll stop, you know, if I choke you.
The gate goes, and men rush to the door, pounding at it.
Any men about here? Hi, hi. Lane's place is ablaze from one end to the other. Hello, there's George Hicks. Anybody here?
What's the matter?
That's only the
Oh, sorry. Yeah, what's what? No, Robert says what's the there's only the old man. Come on.
They run off shouting, fire, fire.
a fire, is it? I'm a fire myself. You little fool. What'd you go and upset me like this for?
Stay there. Come down here. There. Stay there.
She puts herself away. He struggles with her and gets her hands again.
You fool. You're asking for all you get, you know. You little fool. Is that comfortable, eh? Is that comfortable?
He covers her face with kisses. The old man has been heard coming downstairs, and now the door opens and he's in the doorway with a gun.
Stay there.
That's no good, you know. That's no good at all.
Throw up your hands. Put up your hands. Yeah, if you move, I'll put the cartridges into you.
What is it?
Let me go.
If he moves, I'll drop him like a stone.
Oh, stay there.
Turn this way with your hands up. Do you hear me? Turn this way with your hands up, or I'll put a cartridge into you.
Black turns round with his hands up.
You wouldn't fire on a defenseless man. You wouldn't do a dirty thing like that.
Sit down, Liz. There'll be someone here presently.
Let me get out of it. I swear, if you let me get to the door, I'll make myself scarce across the country.
Stand where you are.
Another horse goes by at a gallop. Liz gets up.
Stop where you are, Liz. There'll be others here soon. My arm be steady, even if my legs have gone. Now don't move. You move, I'll pull the trigger.
Not to scene 2 of Act 4. A few hours later, outside it is nearly dawn.
I tell you, if you'll let me go, I'll work somewhere and send you 10 bob a week, as long as you like. On my dying oath, I will.
Don't you move.
I shall drop in a minute. I tell you straight, I shall.
Don't you move.
Hey there, they're coming.
The sound of men coming down the road, talking.
Look here, miss. I've had enough, surely. And you know what they'll stop at when they comes. Blimey, I've apologised. What more do you want?
Don't you move.
The gate shuts.
Father, let him go now. Father,
You stay where you was.
The door is tried, and there's a moment's pause.
it's locked.
I say, let me get out of this.
And from outside,
Door's locked, George.
Liz,
I'll unlock it, Father.
she moves towards the door.
You stop where you were.
what's the matter in there? Liz.
I wants to open the door, George, but Bar won't let I.
Yeah, what's this?
Let me get out of this.
Open the door, Robert.
We couldn't help being so long, Robert. Been a fire up at Lane Snow. We'll help to put it out.
Here, Liz, open the door. We couldn't help it.
Us got copped, you first of all. Let us off because we doused the fire for 'em.
Open the door, Liz.
I'll fire, I tell you.
George suddenly pounds on the door.
Liz, what's the matter in there?
You open the door, George.
Dick breaks the glass, unlocks the door by putting his hand through, and strides in, followed by George and William. For a moment, they stand staring at the scene.
What's this?
Catch hold of that fellow, you chaps, and put your boots into him.
Dang me.
He strides at Black, but in a moment, Black has made a dash for the door, and is only just dragged back in time by Dick and George.
Don't hurt him too much, George.
Dang me, let's know what this is then. What is it, Liz?
I found her near there, Liz, and as she was screaming out for my 3 in the morning.
I came back looking for you, fellas. I thought perhaps you'd given them the slip after all, and she let me in.
You know very well you said you was George.
You come here and said you was I?
She let me in, I tell you. I never hurt her. It was the fire made her scream out and brought the old man down.
What's he done to you, Liz?
He never done nothing. Father stopped him.
I tell you, I came to see if you chaps hadn't got away.
He came here and insulted you, Liz.
I never touched her.
He never touched me.
Yeah, George, we'll have this fella outside.
You came here to insult my girl. Dang me, my wife, did you? I'll swing for you. You get out of the way. Dang me, I'll swing for you.
He rushes at Black.
Keep him off.
George!
None of that now, George.
Keep him off me.
We've made mess enough of it for one day. You come off with him, George.
They pull him back, and Black immediately seizes the large mug to defend himself with.
There'll be murder done here tonight, you know, if we go on like this. I'm not going to be done in cold blood, I tell you. Though my heart's weak. I warn you that, my heart's weak.
Put your boots into him and kick him. Why don't you?
Put it in the pond outside. Out.
Yeah, George, put him in the pond and have done with it. If he never touched Liz?
No, he never touched me.
Come on, have an out and chucking on head over heels. Let them get out and go home as far as they can.
And he's lucky at that.
Yes, here, Liz, you go upstairs.
I shan't go upstairs, and I shan't have you do no more than just putting in.
What's best is gonna do?
Gonna put him in the pond, Robert.
I've got his brother Dan's suit on. If you put me in there, you'll put that in too.
What's that?
The old man, he put me up to it. I looked in this morning and he put me up to all of it. Told me there was a suit upstairs. I tell you, he put me up to all of it. I only wanted a bit of a fling.
Oh, you ain't Liz's cousin then?
I tell you, the old man put me up to it. He was drunk and he got me half drunk. When a fella's on the road, you get tempted easy, I tell you.
Don't put that fella in the pond. Not with my brother's Don's suit on.
It's never worn, is it, Liz?
No, but 'tis a suit.
Go on, have him in.
Give me 1 minute outside the door, and I'll take him off.
What do you mean?
Give me a full minute, and I'll get out of him. I've got my own suit somewhere up in the fields there. If it ain't where the fire was, I can manage somehow. You give me 1 minute, and I'll get out of it.
Oh, all right.
Only don't you run till your time's up, or you'll know why.
He watched black to the door.
Half a minute. Who'll count?
I'll count.
Okay, all right.
It's a fair offer.
He goes outside and disappears round the door.
15,
A coat comes thrown in at the door, and then a waistcoat.
30,
A pair of trousers are thrown in, and Black is heard running off, against Sammy.
45, 60.
William and Dick dash off, but George hesitates and looks back at Liz.
George,
I say, Liz.
George, lock the door again.
George locks the door.
I'll be going upstairs again.
He goes off, and George turns back to Liz.
Liz.